Hello, ma'am.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah,
Hello,
so
ma'am.
this is your mock discussion session of Quiz-1. Have you all submitted that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, submitted what?
Uh, Mock for Quiz-1.
Mock questions.
Yes.
Will they be counted in our?
No, they will not be evaluated, but you have to submit that.
Ma'am, in exam, the questions will be same type, no? Which were in the mock test.
Yes, similar kind of questions.
Okay.
Ma'am, do we have to solve mock test? If we don't solve mock test, would there be any penalty of marks or some deduction?
No, no, no.
Yeah, for bonus marks, I think.
How many weeks will be considered in quiz one? Week 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah, 1 to 4.
1 to 4. Okay, madam.
Okay, let's start then. Yeah, so is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, so this is your question number one, that the mean of annual college fees paid by all the students in a college is 55 lakhs. And the mean annual college fees paid by male and female students of a college are 40 lakhs and 60 lakhs. Okay. Then the percentage of male students studying in the college is, so answer is 25%. So how we will solve this question? What is the approach? Anyone?
And first, we have to consider the portion proportion of male student X. Then we can write the proportion of female student 1 minus X, and then we multiply with the respective.
Okay. Okay, see. Okay, so let us suppose that in the college, the male students, suppose they have N1 in number and female students are N2 in number. Okay, so let the number of male students is suppose N1 and number of female students is suppose N2. Okay, so we are given the total, average fees of the college paid by all the students, which is 55 lakhs, right? So this is for all the students. And then next we are given that the annual mean annual college fees paid by male and female students separately. Okay, so if we see the formula of fee, okay, okay. So the total fees paid by male students plus total fees paid by the female students divided by the total number of students, including male and female. So that will be N1 plus N2, right? So this is the
Yes.
average fees of the college paid by all the students, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that is given as 55 lakhs, 55, right? So
Yes.
from here we can get the total fees paid by male students plus female students. Right? So that should be equal to what? 55 into N1 plus N2. Now, if we talk about the average fees, okay, paid by the male student only. Okay, so that is given to us for 40, right? So the formula for the average of the fee, total fees paid by the male student, it will be divided by N1, right? So that is given to us as 40. So from here, we will get the total fees paid by the male students,
14.
right? So that will be 40 into N1. Okay, similarly, we can find it for female students also, right? So similarly,
Ma'am, there is one
uh,
thing I wanted to ask about the course. Ma'am,
okay, what?
16
actually,
to 10.
I'm not prepared that much for the exam. Is there any way I can request the helpline, the IIT Madras, to take my exam in the March session? Is there any way?
So that you can ask to the support team. You can mail to them and ask regarding that.
So, is there any way? You know any way if it is possible?
No, I am not sure about these things.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, so in the question, so total fees paid by the female students, that will be 40 into N2. Sorry, 60 into N2, right? Okay. But by
Yes,
using
ma'am.
the same formula, it will be 60 N2. So now we can write that 40 N1 plus 60 N2 divided by N1 plus N2. That is given to us as 55, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So from here, you can find the value of N1 and N2, or you can find a relation between them. So 40 N1 plus 60 N2, 65 N1 plus 55 N2. So it will be 5n2 equals to 15n1. So from here, we can say that n2 is equals to 3 times n1. Okay, now in the questions, we have to find the percentage of male students studying in the college, right? So how you can find the percentage? The percentage of male students, so that will be equal to the total number of male students are n1, right? And total students will be n1 plus n2, right? Into 100. So that will be the percentage of male students. Okay. Now from here, we can put the value of n2, which is 3n1, right? So it will be n1 divided by 4n1 into 100. So if you solve it, it will be 25%, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So is this question clear to everyone now?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Now the
Oh,
next
ma'am.
question. Yes.
Hello. I have a question. Mock test question and also qualify exam questions similar. Is this similar
What?
pattern? Mock test question level and also qualify question level. जो upcoming exam 23rd February. This
Yeah, yeah.
question exam pattern question pattern is similar.
So see, these mock test is given to you to have an idea about the quiz. Okay, so it will be similar kind of question.
Ma'am, if I am not getting if I am not doing all PYQ, then any problem for upcoming
It
exam?
it depends on you. If you have studied everything and if you have not done all the questions and you have practiced different variety of questions, then you can solve it. It depends on you what is your study pattern. It's not compulsory to do all the PYQs. It depends on you. It's for your practice.
Question pattern is similar. The mock test exam का question and other qualified exam
It's similar, not same. Okay.
pattern. I want to ask a pattern.
You're asking about the pattern of the question. Question
Yes.
paper, entire question paper. So have you seen any PYQ? Any previous year question paper? It will be similar to
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So in the second question, we have by multiplying each of the number 4, 5, 7, 11, 13 by 4, and then adding 7 to each of them, we obtain a new data set. And then the difference between the sample variance of the new data set and the sample variance of the old data set, that we have to find. So if you have solved it, then tell me what is the value of the sample variance for the old data set. Anyone who solved this question?
Ma'am,
Is
15.
it 15?
Yes, ma'am, 15.
Okay. And then for the old new data set?
It will
Uh,
be
15 into 4 is square.
That is 235 hours.
I
250.
got 240.
Yeah, 240. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then 240 minus
Okay, difference.
240 minus 15.
240 minus 15. So answer will be 225. Okay, which is fine. Now everyone
Yes.
knows how to find the sample variance.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me solve it. So the data set we are given is 4, 5, 7, 11, and 13, right? Okay, so we have to find the sample variance. So what is the formula for sample variance?
Summation of xi minus mean of x whole square upon n minus 1.
Summation of xi minus x bar whole square divided by n minus 1. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so first of all, we have to find mean. Okay, we have to find mean x bar. So which will be 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 11 plus 13 divided by 5, right? So the sum will be equal to
40.
40 divided by, this will be 40 divided by 5, which is 8.
8.
Okay. Now we have to find s square. Okay. So 1 upon n minus 1, which is 1 upon 5 minus 1. Okay, 1 by 4. Then 4 minus 8 whole square plus 5 minus 8 whole square plus 7 minus 8 whole square plus 11 minus 8 whole square and plus 13 minus 8 whole square.
Ma'am, we can also do the mean minus the variable. Mean minus observation also.
Oh, yeah, you can do that also because we are taking a a square, so that will not affect.
Madam, can we calculate all this 4 minus 8 and all and then finally square it up? Would it change the answer in some way?
You are saying first we will take the difference 4 minus 8, 5 minus 8,
Add it up, summation,
and
and
then take.
finally square.
No. That will give you a different answer.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so 4 minus 8. So then square will be 16,
16,
then 9,
9,
then
1,
1, then
9,
9, then 25, right? So the summation will be equal to
60.
60 divided by 4. So
4
s
minus 50.
square will be 15. Okay, so this is what? This is the old variance, old sample variance. Old sample variance, we have got it as 15. Okay, now we have done some changes in the data set. So what we have done, we have to do is by multiplying each of the number by 4, and then we have to add 7. Okay, so suppose these values, if I represent these values are as exercise, okay, these are exercise value. Then in the new data set, in the new data, suppose I am representing it as yi values. So what we are doing, we are multiplying by 4 in each term. Then we are adding 7, right? Now we can directly use the formula and then we can find the sample variance for the new data set. So we know that variance of yi values will be equal to variance of 4 times xi plus 7. Now, what should it be? What should I write in the next step?
Square of 4.
Yeah, 4 square into variance of x, xi, okay, xi value. And then variance of 7 will be 0, right? Because 7 is a constant value. Okay,
Yes,
so the variance of any constant value is 0. Is this point clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now it will be 14 square, 16 into old variance, which is 15. So that will be equal to 240. Okay, now we have to find the difference. So difference will be equal to 240 minus 15. So it will be 225. Is it clear to everyone now?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, and the variance is not affected by addition in the data, no?
Yeah, if you add constant value to each data point, the variance will not be affected.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, so the next question is consider various variables that describes the specification of flats owned by a builder. These variables include price of flat, area of flat, BHK, which means number of bedroom attached with one hall and one kitchen, furnishing, so it has furnished, semi-furnished, or unfurnished, 3 categories, and locality. The builder owns 400 flats whose specifications are then organized in a data table. Based on this information, choose the correct option. So,
The
what
last
options are
question,
correct?
can you again tell the solution? Like I wanted to take a screenshot. Like when you calculated sample variance and after then you multiplied 4 and added 7. What you did there in the
Yeah.
variance?
So see. Okay, so till this point it is clear. Old
Yes, ma'am.
sample variance is
Yes,
50.
ma'am.
You're
Yes, ma'am.
asking this point, right?
Yeah, that is, yeah.
So in the question, the
In the
second
question,
question,
it was written 4 into plus 7. That's also I got after that.
okay. Okay, so if you have any data set, okay, and if you add a constant to all the data points, and if you multiply all the constant to all the data points. So there are some results. If you have studied week 3 thoroughly, you will see how the variance gets affected if you add or multiply by some constant to the data points. So if you multiply the constant to the data points, it gets squared into old variance. Okay, but if you are adding something, that does not affect the variance. So
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
this is a result that we have directly used here. You don't need to find the new sample variance of the new data set in this way. You don't have to do that. You can just directly use this result and you will get the answer.
Got it, ma'am. Got it. We just have to multiply 16 and made a difference. Okay.
Okay, yeah. What are the correct options in this question? Third question.
Yeah. Option number 1 and third and fourth.
Third and fourth. First,
Okay,
third,
so
and fourth.
okay, first option is the number of variables in the data set is 5. So what are the
Yes, ma'am.
variables in this question in the data set?
Price of flat,
Hmm.
BHK, furnishing,
Price,
locality, and
price,
locality.
area, and BHK, and furnishing and locality also.
Yeah. So these 5 are the variables in the data set. Okay, so these are 5 in numbers. So the option number 1 will be correct. Okay, the next is the number of cases or observation in the data table is 5. So is it correct or wrong?
Wrong, ma'am.
Yeah, so that will be wrong because number of variable is 5, not the cases or observation.
Ma'am,
Yes.
in this question, there's a 400 observation, right?
Yeah, 400.
Yes, so the builder owns 400 flats. Yeah, if they have collected data for all the 400 flats, then it will be 400.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah. Next is furnishing is a categorical variable. So
Yes,
Ma'am, what
is
ma'am.
are
it correct?
400? The student asked, what is 400 here? They are the.
So he was talking about the cases or observations. So here the line is the builder owns 400 flats whose specification are then organized in data table. Okay, so they have collected the data for the 400 flats. So these 400 will be your cases or observation. Is it
Okay, ma'am.
clear?
So they will be in the rows.
Yes. Okay, next is furnishing is a categorical variable. So is it correct?
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Okay. So furnishing has 3 categories, right? Furnished, semi-furnished, and unfurnished. Okay, they are not numerical variable, they are categorical variable. Next is price of flat is a numerical variable,
Yes, ma'am.
which is also correct, right? The price
Yes,
will be
ma'am.
numerical. Any doubts in this part? Is it clear to right, everyone? Okay, next is area of flat is the discrete numerical variable.
Incorrect, ma'am.
Yeah, incorrect. Why?
Because it may be in decimals value.
Yeah, it can take any value in the range, right? So area will be continuous numerical variable and not discrete, right?
And ma'am, area is a measurable quantity, not a countable number.
Yes. So we measure the area and do not count it. Okay, that is also you can know that it's a continuous numerical variable. Next
Yes,
is
ma'am.
locality is a numerical variable.
No, ma'am.
So
Incorrect.
definitely the locality will not be a numerical variable.
And
So, ma'am,
furnish is ordinary scale measurement.
for the discrete numerical variable, it has to be calculated. Like always has to be calculated.
Not calculated, it is countable.
Okay.
Okay, so discrete is something that takes distinct values on the real line, which is countable. Suppose number of students in the class,
Okay.
right? So number of students cannot be like 1.5 student or 2.3 students, right?
And the student asked that it can be calculated. That's why also it's discrete. So in that way also.
I think she said countable, not calculated. Am I
Okay.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's countable. Okay, so is this question clear now?
Ma'am, furnishing is ordinal skill. Am I right?
Furnished, semi-furnished, unfurnished.
Nominal one.
Yes,
It should
nominal.
be nominal. Yeah.
Because this can't be
Uh,
ordered. We can't say
we can
semi-furnished
order
is.
like, yeah,
It is order, ma'am. That's why.
Ma'am, it can be ordered because there is somebody good, better, best in that way.
yeah,
We
we
can
can
compare.
say in that way
We
also.
can compare, na? So
If
maybe.
we are like, yeah, if we are considering that, yeah, like obviously in practical scenarios, that semi-furnished is better than furnished and unfurnished is better than
It's an
semi-furnished. So if we
ordinal
are
day.
comparing in this way, then it will be ordinal. Okay, if we are saying that semi-furnished is better than furnished. Okay, if you are considering all these things also, then it will be ordinal.
Yeah, this is in descending order.
Yeah. Furnished, then semi-furnished, and then unfurnished. So next one is, if the variance of a set of non-zero or non-zero observation is 0, you can conclude. First option is that observations have same number of positive and negative data points.
Madam, can you explain the question? Actually, I didn't understand the question itself.
Question number 3 or 4?
Four, ma'am.
Okay. So the variance of a set of non-zero observation is 0. So non-zero observation, which means that observations are not zero. Like it has some value, maybe 4, 6, 7, 100, 20, 50, but they are not zero. Okay,
But
and they are saying that variance of a set of non-zero observation is 0,
Okay.
which means the variance is 0 here for that kind of observation. Did you understand now?
So, madam, that can only happen if it is 3 3 3 3 3 or 4 4 4 like that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so see, the options are that the observations have same number of positive and negative data points, that the mean
Incorrect.
average value is 0. Next is
Incorrect.
that all the observations are same value, and that is a mistake in calculation has been made. None of the above. So see, so when we have all the data points same, suppose we have 7, 7, 7, 7. So if you calculate the variance, so what do you understand by variance? So variance tells us about the variability in the data set. So here we can see that there is no variability. All the values are same, right? So variance will be 0 for this kind of data set. Okay. Also, you can see this thing that the formula for variance, okay, suppose population variance, or you can take sample variance also. So we take the summation of squared deviations, right? Okay. So, so they should be, if they are 0, then only the variance will be 0. So individually, I can write it like x1 minus x bar whole square plus x2 minus x bar whole square plus up to, suppose we have n number of data points. So xn minus x bar whole square equals to 0. Okay. If I divide by n, 0. Okay, and then if you take it to the right hand side, it will be 0, right? And we know that if you are taking the squared terms, even if the deviation is negative, okay, ultimately after squaring, it will be a positive value only, right? Always. All these terms, squared deviations, will be positive always. Okay. So it should be 0. So if they are 0, they all are 0, then only their summation will be 0. Because the summation of non-zero values, okay, which are positive, that can never be equal to 0. Are you understanding what I am saying?
That can only be possible, ma'am, when the all the observation are same and their mean is also same.
Yeah. So we have all the data points, all the values as same. If you calculate the mean, then that will also be equal to the data points, which is 7 here. Okay. So if you take, so it will be like 7 minus 7 whole square plus 7 minus 7 whole square, right? So then it will be 0. All the points, all these squared deviation will be 0. And then only their summation will be 0. Okay, because we are taking square terms. Okay, so even if you get the deviation as negative, but you are squaring it, so after squaring, it will be a positive value. So can you see like summation of the positive numbers can be 0? No, right? So suppose we have positive numbers like 7, 8, 10, 2. So can it ever be equal to 0? No, right? If we have 7 minus 7 plus 8 minus 8, then it can be 0. Okay, so here you can see that we have negative values also. We have one positive 7, then we have one negative 7, one positive 8 and one negative 8. Okay, then it can be equal to 0. But if you are taking summation of all positive values only, it can never be 0. It is possible only when all the values are 0 only. Summation
Ma'am,
of
in the
zeros can be 0.
formula, ma'am, in the formula you said population variance is the formula of this is that sigma x1 upon x this upon n. So sir,
Yeah,
so ma'am,
yeah.
this is the formula for population variance, and in the above you said variance is 0 here. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is the formula for population variance. Okay,
Ma'am, what is the
just write
difference
it.
between yeah
You can
population
write it
variance?
like I'm telling you about the variance. It can be sample variance also. It can be population variance also.
Yeah,
Here there is
population
no
variance
variation.
is this.
Here there is no variation
Sample
from that
variance
mean.
is n minus 1.
Okay, so these terms focus on the numerator part. Numerator part is same for both population and sample variance. Okay, so all the values are same, so it will be the variance will be 0. Even
If
if
you
you
Yes,
are
ma'am.
calculate sample
confused,
variance or you calculate population variance.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, any doubt for anyone?
No, ma'am, clear.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so next we have
So, ma'am, the answer of this is that of the that all
yes,
the observation are the same values. That's all.
yes.
What about the third? That all the second one. Okay, okay. All the other case won't work here. Okay.
Yeah, so fifth question is in first quartile. Sorry, if first quartile is 80 and the third quartile is 100, then which of the following must be true? So median will lie in the range 80 to 100. Median is 90. The standard deviation is at most 20.
can you explain the median will lie in 80 to 100? Because I think none is true.
Okay, so according to you, no option is correct, huh?
Yes.
Okay, see, okay, what do you understand by first and third quartiles?
75 and 25.
25% at 75%.
25 and 75%.
Not percentile.
Percentile.
A percentile.
I think median is 90 is the correct answer.
Okay, see. So Q1 is your first percentile, sorry, first quartile, which is 25th percentile. Suppose if I represent it by a line, okay, this is our minimum value, suppose for the data set, and this is suppose maximum. So, okay, so this will be your 25th percentile. Okay, which is Q1, which is first quartile also. Okay, and the third quartile will lie here, okay, which is 75th percentile. Right? And what is the median?
55 percentile. 50,
Median,
50 percentile.
yeah, 50th percentile. Okay. So median is 58th percentile. Okay. And it is also the second quartile, right?
Yeah, Q2.
So now it is given that Q1 is 80 and Q3 is 100. Okay. So it will lie in the interval 80 to 100 only.
Okay, ma'am, I
Yes,
got
ma'am.
this.
Okay. Now in the next option, we are given that the median is 90. So that we cannot say that median is 90 always. It will lie in the range 80 to 100, that is for sure. But median will be 90. That we cannot find without having the data set.
Yeah, ma'am.
We have a
Okay.
limitation data for finding median.
Yes. Okay, so without data set and with having only Q1 and Q3, we cannot say that the median will be 90. Always. It's not the case for always.
Okay,
The
ma'am.
particular data set, the Q2 or the median can be 90, but it's not true in general. Okay, next is the standard deviation is at most 20. So the standard deviation also we cannot find without having a data set, because what is the formula for standard deviation? It is the square root of variance, right? So which means it requires all the excise value, data points, right? We need excise value. Also, we are given Q3 as 100 and Q1 as 80. So we can find interquartile range here, IQR, which will be 100 minus 80, and that is equal to 20. Okay, so IQR is equals to 20, but not the standard deviation.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can you repeat statement 3 again, please?
Yeah.
Statement
So
3. Yeah.
standard deviation is what? Standard deviation we find by taking the square root of variance, right? So
Yes,
variance,
ma'am.
for calculating the variance, we should know all the data points.
Okay, ma'am. Got it. Got it, ma'am. Got it, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
IQR,
the
we
last
can
thing you
find,
called that, ma'am, IQR is basically 75 percentile minus 25 percentile. Always, na, ma'am.
yes. So this
If we
is
know the
always
75,
Q3 minus Q1, 75th percentile minus 25th percentile. Okay, so that will be 20, but standard deviation is not 20. Now this question is clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, next question is, suppose the correlation coefficient between two variables x and y is 0.5 or 0.45. So what will be the new correlation coefficient if 0.10 is added to all the values of the x variable and every value of the y variable is doubled, and then two variables are interchanged? So what will be the answer?
No change হবে.
Yeah, no change. So how? Can you explain?
Ma'am, I have I have a little request to you. Please take a blank white sheet and describe something little about correlation coefficient, please. I am little confused in correlation coefficient.
Okay, so correlation is basically tells us about the relationship between two variables. Okay, so it gives us the linear relationship between two variables. So if you have two data sets, some xi value, okay, and some yi values. Okay, so how these two variables are related to each other? Are they related or they are not related? So these kind of things we can get from the correlation.
Ma'am, is there any formula for it?
Yeah, there is formula for it also. Correlation is basically the covariance between x comma y divided by the standard deviation of x and standard deviation of y. Is this clear to you? Okay, so we
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
find covariance, and by using the covariance, you can find the correlation. Okay, so here we are given that the correlation between two variables x and y, that is given to us as correlation between x and y. Okay, that is given as 0.45. Okay, and then they are saying that we are doing, we have x values and y values. Okay, so in x values we are adding 0.1. Okay, and then we are doubling the y values, which means this. So now we have, and then we are interchanging them also. So first we have to write 2y, and then it will be 0.1 plus x. Okay, and we have to find the correlation for these. So this is what the question is asking to us. So now, can you guess that it should be changed or not? Anyone?
No, ma'am. I confused. So please listen.
Okay, see. So if we see the formula for covariance, so covariance is, so for covariance also we have population covariance and sample covariance. Okay. So for covariance of x and y, the numerator part is same for both sample and population, right?
In covariance, there is square root of x minus y mean upon n.
Square root of.
Yeah, ma'am, root of.
We don't have to take square root.
In covariance, right?
Ma'am, can we guess on the basis of the covariance is not changes by adding any constant, and standard deviation is also not affected by the adding any constant?
You can use that result.
Can we do now?
Yeah, of course, you can use all the results how covariance and correlation are affected. Okay,
Yes,
as
ma'am.
we have studied for variance part. Okay, so
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is this is not equal to, so I am taking the numerator part only as of now. Okay, consider this thing. Focus on this thing first. Okay, so this is the numerator part for calculating the covariance thing. So, what we are doing, we are adding some constant in x. Okay, and then we are multiplying in y values, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you double here, so it will be 2y something. Okay, just try to understand what I'm saying. Okay, I'm not writing the entire part like divided by n or n minus 1. Okay, so if you take 2 times, so like the mean will also be doubled, right? So it will be like 2y minus y bar something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, similarly, this part, okay, I'm not writing the exact values here. Okay, and also if we calculate the standard deviation, so here also you see that if we are multiplying some values, Okay, so it will be like 2 times standard deviation of y. Which means indirectly what we see that you will have the same constant in numerator and denominator, so it will be cancelled out. Okay, so what you can do, you can do all the calculation. You will see that ultimately the correlation value will be same. It will not be affected.
Ma'am, but what about 0.1 which is added?
Yeah, that is also if you do all the calculation, you will see that it will not be affected by that. Because we are dividing here also with the standard
Ma'am,
deviation of
here I
x and
wanted.
standard deviation of y.
Okay, ma'am, here in the formula x1 minus x dash and summation of that, we also have to divide it by 2 now, because there are two because for the formula of variance we have to divide it by the n minus 1, and so do we have to divide it here?
Yeah, when you calculate the covariance, or when you are finding out the covariance, you have to divide, okay, by n or n minus 1. But I
So here
am
we have to
focusing on
divide by.
if you're calculating population covariance, you will divide by capital M. If you are finding out the sample covariance, you will divide by n minus 1.
So here also, ma'am, in the formula of x and y, we have to divide it by 2.
2, why 2?
Because it's x and y, na?
X and y, we have two variables, but capital is something the total number of values in the data set, not the
Okay.
number of variables. Okay.
Okay, so we have to divide by n here.
Yeah, capital N. So that
We have to divide it by.
is not given here in the question. Okay, we
What
don't
if
have
it
to
is?
find, yeah, if it is given, that will be given. If you have to find covariance and correlation, the data set or the information will be given to you. Okay, then only you can find it.
But ma'am, here when you were solving it, uh, the correlation coefficient for the when you were calculating the covariance of x1 y1, then we have to divide by n, na? But we don't know n.
So here we have to find the correlation, not the covariance. Okay.
No, ma'am, but for the correlation, we have to know the covariance between x and y. So when you were calculating the covariance between x and y, then we have to divide it by n, na? That's what I was asking.
Yeah. So there is the formula. If you open this formula, so here we have covariance of x and y divided by standard deviation of x and standard deviation of y. So if you put the formula for these and these, some denominator part cancels out. So
So
it
the
will,
n cancel out. You are saying that, okay?
that part cancelled out. So it will be like numerator part of covariance and numerator part of standard deviation or variance part. Okay, so the formula for correlation becomes like correlation, it will be like something xi minus x bar, okay, yi minus y bar divided by under root of summation xi minus x bar square and square root of yi minus y bar square.
Prerna madam,
So
so I
the
have one
common
question
denominator
here.
got cancelled for the numerator and the denominator. You are saying that here.
Yes. What?
The common denominator would be cancelled in
No,
this
I'm not
formula.
asking to you. Yeah, the
Yeah,
other person.
Prerna
Yes.
madam. So can you show me the formula, madam? So I can able to understand if you adding the numbers, any numbers, then the difference will be same. But in multiplication, they provided twice the number. Twice means again they're adding the same number, right? So maybe the multiplication, maybe I don't know. It will be the difference will be same. I'm thinking. So I can able to understand adding numbers, maybe the difference will be same between the two mean and yeah. For the product, it won't be same, right?
See, yeah, you will get some value. Okay. So what you are doing for the difference part, it's clear, right? When we
Yeah,
are adding up
yeah.
constant, okay?
Yes, correct.
Because you will be having the same difference, so it will
Same,
be ultimately you will get the same thing.
same difference. Yes, correct.
Okay. So what you are doing? So in yi values, we initially we have yi. After it, we are doing 2yi, right?
Yeah, doubled,
Okay. So what we
scaled
are
up.
like, so here it will be So this part will be 2 times yi minus. So y bar will also be doubled, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this will be the change in this term.
Yes.
Okay. Similarly for here also, it will be under root of 2yi minus 2 y bar square.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you can see here we can take 2 as common. Okay. So in the numerator it will be 2 yi minus y bar. Now if you
Ma'am,
take
is there a square also in the numerator for the variance, covariance? There is a square also, no?
No.
no, in covariance you don't have to take square.
It will be 4, not 2. We will take common.
Yeah, you will take 2 common, it gets squared, so it will be square root of 4, right? So square root of 4 is what? 2, right? So then 2 and 2 will be cancelled out. That's what I'm saying. Now is it clear?
Okay, so below the standard deviation is coming, that portion maybe it's canceling that's what
Yeah,
you're telling. Yeah.
because you know that when we are
So means if you're adding or multiplication, doing multiplication to the correlation coefficient, sorry, not if they are adding or multiplication to the observations, then correlation coefficient won't change. Correct? Yeah.
Ma'am, I have one doubt here. As you told that for a covariance, we will divide this value, numerator value by n. In case, ma'am, for X data set and Y data set, the n values are different. For example, if X data set has 3 values and Y data set has 5 values, in that case, how we will take the value of n, and also how we calculate value for covariance, because for I1 to I3 we have values for both data sets, but for I equal to 4 and 5 we don't have any values in X data set. Hello?
Yeah, 1 minute. Okay, let me check this point again, then I will inform you later.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, in the above formula, in the sheet when you are solving the covariable, yeah, ma'am, correlation when you go above the formula of covariable, in the formula of covariable, ma'am.
Covariance, not covariable.
Yeah, ma'am.
Then
You said it's covariance upon that in the formula, ma'am. When you wrote the formula, you said it's covariance upon this standard
standard deviation.
deviation. Yeah, ma'am. So, ma'am,
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. So here you were saying that the square will be getting cut. So there will be of no
Yes.
change.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it clear to everyone now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so next is the bar chart given in the figure Q.1. Shows the show
Okay,
size of a group
Madam,
of
sorry to
70.
interrupt. If similar question, similar manner it's coming now, then we can close our eyes and we can select the same answer. Right? So
What?
that earlier question, so the correlation coefficient won't change if you're adding and multiplication, then easily we can, without any thinking, we can give the answer for the
Yeah,
same.
if this
Yeah.
kind of question is like
Yeah.
exactly same, okay,
Yeah. Okay.
just with the value change. But if
Yeah.
something more is we are doing, then you will have to see how the other things are affecting.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, this question. Fine.
What's
One with the correct options. 1.
Where size is two.
Okay, so the question is the bar chart given in figure Q.1 shows the shoe size of a group of 70 children. So based on this information, what options are correct? So this is the bar chart. So 16 children wear a size 8. So at 8, we can see that 16 is the frequency for 8. So option
Yes.
number 1 will be correct. Then 29 children wear a shoe size less than 8. So less than 8, which means 5 plus 6 plus 7, which means 9 plus 20 plus 25, which will not be equal to
59.
29, right? So second option will not be correct. Next is 7 is the median shoe size. Okay, so for finding out the median, you can arrange the data set. Okay, and then you can find the median. So what is the total number of total number of observations here? 9 plus 20 plus 25 plus 16.
No, 7 is not.
70 total, I think.
Yeah, 70 will be the total number of observations. Okay, so if we are having the value of n as 70, then what will be the median in that case for any data
35
set?
and 36th.
Yeah,
The mean of
35th.
35 and 36, yeah.
Yeah, mean of 35 and 36. So 35 and 36, we can see that it will fall in this range, like 7 number shoes. Okay, so here we have 9, here we have 20. The 29th observation are there for shoe size 5 and 6, right? So 35th and 36th will come in this column, right? In 7th number. Like
Ma'am,
whose shoe size is 7.
but excuse me, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, but for median, we have first we have to arrange the data in ascending order,
Yeah,
right?
we have to arrange the data set. So here you can see that already it is already arranged. Smallest to largest, right?
no, ma'am. We have to arrange in the number of quantity terms, I think.
No. Here the observation is ordinal. So yeah, got it, ma'am. Got it, ma'am. Yeah, it's a ascending order, right?
Okay, so it is already ordered.
Yes, ma'am.
So 7 is the median shoe size will be correct.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Now next is 35 children wear shoe size larger than 6. So
Yes, ma'am.
larger than 6, which means 7 and 8. So it will be 25 plus 16. So it will not be equal to 35. So this option will also be not correct. Then we have 6 is the mode shoe size. So mode is something that have,
No, ma'am. 7.
yeah, so mode is something that has the maximum frequency. Okay, so maximum frequency is 7
7.
shoe size having the maximum frequency. So 6 is the mode that will be wrong. Next, we have the range of shoe sizes 4. So range is what? Maximum minus minimum. So maximum data set is
8 minus 5.
Yes.
Ma'am,
Okay,
8
so
minus 5, yeah, 25 minus 9.
no, 25 is the frequency. It's not the value of the data point. It's just telling us about the frequency.
Okay, ma'am.
So it is like 5, 5, 5, 9 times, then 6, 20 times, then 7, 25 times, and then 8, 16 times.
Okay, ma'am. Got it, ma'am. Got
So
it. Thank you, ma'am.
maximum is 8 here and minimum is 5. So range will not be 3, right? Oh, sorry, it will not be 4.
Range is 3, right?
Yeah, it will be 3. So
Okay,
the
ma'am.
next is the value of first quartile Q1 of the shoe size is 6. So how we find the quartile? Anyone?
NP, ma'am.
20,
NP.
Yeah,
25
we
upon
have
total multiply by 100.
25 percentile.
Yeah, 25 upon total and multiplied by 100, I think.
okay. So first quartile, which means 25th percentile. Okay, so
Yes,
25th
ma'am.
percentile, how we can find it? We have to find the value of NP, right? So N is what? The total number of observation. Total
Ma'am,
is 70 here.
70. 70
Okay, yeah.
or
70 into
0.25.
0.25. Right?
Yes,
Any
ma'am.
doubt to anyone in this part?
So, ma'am, 70 into 0.25 would be the
So 70 into 0.25 is equal to what? 17.5. Okay,
oh,
so we have two cases here. Like whenever you calculate the percentile, we have two cases. First, we find the value of NP. So if the value of NP is integer, and like the two cases are there, value of NP is integer and value of NP is not an integer. Okay,
okay.
so if you have, okay, so NP, if it is integer and if it is a non-integer value. So if it is a non-integer, so integer may be something like 16, 17, 7, 8, like this. Okay, non-integer is, which means we have some decimal value. So which means 17.5 as in our case, or 18.2 or 20.3, like this. So if we have like this decimal value, non-integer value, we have to take the next integer to that value. So 17.5, the next integer is 18, right?
Okay,
For
ma'am. Okay.
18.2,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
next integer is 19. For
Okay, ma'am.
20.3, next integer is 21. So that observation will be that percentile value. And whenever we have integer, like the value of NP, if it is integer, then what we take? Suppose if it is 16, then we take 16 and the next value, and then take the average. Okay, suppose if we got the value of NP as 8, then 8th observation plus
8.
9th observation divided by 2. Basically, the average of NPth observation and NP plus 1th observation. Okay, so here we have value of NP as 17.5, which means 18th observation will be the first quartile. So 18th observation will fall in this category, 6, right? So 6 will be correct. Okay. Now the next question is,
Ma'am, NP and Q1 are same.
NP and
Q1.
not NP and Q1. Q1 is the first quartile, which means 25th percentile. The
Okay.
value of N and value of P changes. Okay, it is just
Okay.
like we use value of NP for finding out the percentile value. You have to see,
Okay.
so N is the total number of observation and P is the percentile value. So if you have to find 25th percentile, so for that value of P will be 0.25. If you are finding
Okay. The
out,
value.
suppose 60th percentile, so the P will be 0.6.
Okay. And N would be constant for the all. Okay.
N is the total number of data points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ma'am, I
next
have one
is
query. If we multiply 0.25 with 4, because there are 4 sizes, and then I add 1, I'll get second size. Will that be correct? I'm getting the same answer.
What again?
In the previous question. In the
Yeah,
previous question,
yeah, what you're doing?
Instead of multiplying it by 70 for finding Q1, I multiplied 0.25 with 4 because there are 4 sizes.
We have to
Then I
multiply it by
added 1.
70.
If I multiply it with size like NP, then I add +1. I'm getting 2. That is second size is 6 number and answer is also 6. Will that be correct?
1 minute. What calculation you are doing?
Instead of 70, I am multiplying it with 4.
Yeah, that's fine. What you are doing?
Ma'am, we have to find Q1, right? For the last option, we have to check will Q1 be 6? So when I multiply 0.25 with 4, because there are 4 sizes, and then I add 1, I'm getting 2. I'm getting 2 as answer, and 2 is the second size.
How are you doing this? Like, why are you adding 1? And this I don't understand.
Yeah, I guess I have made some mistake because in integer part, do we have the formula NP plus 1?
NP plus N is not a
NP
formula.
plus 1.
So, ma'am, when you will go to the question, ma'am, main question.
The study material formula is only NP, not NP plus 1.
So, I mean, how you are doing that? You are multiplying 4 by 0.25 and then why you are adding 1? So, how did you think this formula?
I guess I have made some mistake. I have combined two formulas. There was one formula for rank as well. So it was 0.25 into n minus 1 plus 1.
I'm not sure about what you are saying, but this is the formula we use for calculating the percentile value.
Okay, ma'am.
So, ma'am, even for percentile value, we don't need to arrange the data in ascending order based upon frequency. Only based upon category, we need to make the ascending order. Am I right?
We need to arrange the data in ascending order. So here the data given to us is already arranged in the ascending order.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so
Arranged in the ascending order in terms of category, like 5, 6, 7,
yeah,
8.
so yeah, 5, yeah.
Not in the terms of frequency, we don't need to rearrange it.
No, not in terms of frequency. On the
Understood.
basis of data points.
Okay.
No, now
value
frequency
of the
means it will be automatically aligned, right? Ascending or
Yeah.
descending, it will be automatically assigned. For example, 4 repetition of 4 times means then it will be ascending only, it will come.
Yes, ma'am. We can go to the next question, I guess.
Yeah, so the next question is the stem and leaf plot diagram given in the figure Q.2 and Q.3 shows the results of computational thinking and English exams conducted in college respectively. So we have X as unknown value. Okay, so X is not given to us. The question is, what is the difference of the modal score of computational thinking and English? So modal score, which means we have to find the mode value for these two data sets. Okay. So what is the mode here?
For
For
computational
first
thinking,
one,
I think 88.
88.
okay. So for
88.
yeah, it's 88. Okay, and then for English,
59.
59. 59, yes.
59, right? So the answer will be 29.
Ma'am, how did you calculate that?
So do you know how we
Who
interpret
went to the
this
lecture?
stem and leaf plot?
Yeah, ma'am. It would be 59. And can you show us, ma'am?
See, in the figure you can see for the first one. Okay, for the first stem and leaf plots, can you tell me what are the data points here?
It's 30 and 37,
Yeah, then next.
42, 45, 60, 46, and 48.
Yeah. So can you see like what is that observation which has the maximum frequency?
Ma'am, 5, 51, 53, 57, 59, and
No,
50.
5 is not observation. 51, 53, 55 are the different observations.
Okay, okay.
So now you can see that at the last 88 we are getting 2 times.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay, so 88
Okay,
is
so
there. Okay.
88 will be the mode. Okay, in
Okay.
the next you can see that 5 and 9 is coming 3 times, which means 59 we are getting 3
59.
times.
Okay, ma'am.
So
Okay,
that is
ma'am.
the
Okay.
mode. Okay, so
Okay,
88 minus 59, which will be 29.
okay.
Okay, next is if the range of the computational thinking is 4 is greater than the range of English is 4 by 7, then what is the value of X? So we have to find the range for CT and English. Okay, so in the first you can see for CT we have maximum value as 88 and minimum as 30, right? And for the English we have maximum as 9x. We don't know x, so 9x. Okay, and minimum is 43. Okay, so range for CT. So it is
88 minus
88
30.
minus 30. Okay, so 58. And if you find range for English, so it will be
9x
it will
minus.
be 9x minus
Minus
43.
yeah.
Again,
Madam, 90 plus x, right?
90 plus x minus 43.
Yeah, you can take both.
No, 9x means different meaning.
see, yeah, that's what I was saying, that 9x
90
is not
plus x. 90 plus x only.
See how we interpret. You can directly write 9x. It is not in the multiplication of with x with 9. So 9 into x is not the meaning of in this case.
Take
9x
total as a
suppose
The
you can
same
write
chart,
90 plus
first
can take
the
x
total
also,
as
that
y.
would also work.
Ma'am, can
90
we do it
plus
like this?
x minus 4.
One
Okay,
minute.
sorry to interrupt. So, madam, if the stem plot, the first digit is the first digit, then the remaining the second right hand side is all the second digit, right? So in this case, 90 plus x only it will come, right?
Yeah, that also you can write 90 plus x. That would also work. Okay, I'm just trying to make you understand what it is written there. Okay, 9x does not mean that 9 into x. It is like ones place and tens place.
Yeah, 94.
Okay, so this is 9x, not 9 into x, or whatever you
Actually,
want to
ma'am,
write, you can use.
all of this all courses, we are taking 9x is as a multiplication between 9 and x. So
Yeah,
that's why it is becoming a bit confusing.
yeah.
Generally,
So
9x is as a
that's why
representation of
I'm
multiplication.
explaining to you. Yeah, so yeah, that is correct. You are saying 9x is yeah, generally it is 9 into x, but for this particular question, I'm just writing in this way. Okay, so that's why I have just made these blocks.
You
I
can
think we
take
should take
9x
only
or
x place of 9 x
90
or
plus
90
x.
plus x.
Okay, see, let
Ma'am, we
me
can
solve
use a
it further.
shortcut here.
Ma'am, in the question, ma'am, just when you go to the question.
So it depends on you. How do you want to solve this question? Like this is just my way of solving it.
Yeah, it's madam, it is a new method. We will see how you are solving. So it's a new learning. So you know.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Not nothing new. I just write it in this way. Nothing is new here. Okay, so range we find maximum minus minimum. This is 58. This is also range. Here you can see that maximum observation. We don't know the value of x. Okay, that's why it is getting some confusion here. But it is 9x, whatever it is. Okay, so you can see that the answer is 4. It is 94. Okay, it's the answer. At the place of 4, I have just written x. Okay, don't get confused with it. Okay, I will write it like this, not 9x. Okay. Now what we are given that in the question you can see the range of computational thinking is 4 is greater than the range of English is 4 by 7, which means that range of CT, which is 58, okay, is greater than range of English by 7. So range of English will be 9x minus 43. Okay, so let me write in this way only. 9x minus 43. Okay, plus 7. Is this clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so it will be, so this 9x, okay, this is 58 plus 43 minus 7. So these 9x, it will come something like 94. Okay, so now you can see that value of x will be 4. Now you don't
Yes,
have to do like 9x is 94, so x will be 94 divided by 9. It's not the case
You
here,
can.
okay?
Madam, the 7 how it's came, madam. Actually, 7 how it's came.
Yeah,
Actually, the
7.
distance between them is 7. So
Yeah, you can write in that way also. It just depends on you. There can be multiple methods of solving. You can just write 58 minus like range of city minus range of English will be equal to 7. Okay, so that is given here. Range of
Okay.
computational thinking score is greater than range of
Oh, the
English
provided.
score by
Okay.
7.
It's given. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So now you can compare here that at the place of x it is 4. Now, any confusion?
No,
Is
ma'am.
it clear? Okay, next is what is the difference between medians of the two scores? Okay, so we have to find the median value for both the uh, like figure Q.2 and for figure Q.3. So what will be the median value? So first of all, what is the total number of observation for first and second?
22. First 22.
Yeah, so
Second
first is
18.
22.
Just count the leaf, ma'am.
Yeah, I know
11th
it.
observation and 12th observation by
So
Second
for
18.
so for first Q.2 it is 22 and for English it is 18. So if we have n as 22, so 11th and 12th observation divided by 2, which means average of 11th and 12th observation, that will be your median. So in the first one you can see 11th observation is 59.
59.
Okay, so 59 plus 62 divided by 2.
5.5.
Okay, so median
60.
median for CT will be
60.5.
59 plus 62 divided by 2, which is 60.2. Sorry, 60.5. Similarly, median for English. So English we
65
have,
plus 67. 9th
so
and
for English
10th
we have,
observation.
okay, let me speak also. Okay, so for English we have n equals to 18, right? So it will be
Yes.
9 plus 10th observation divided by 2. Okay, so 65 plus 67 divided by 2. So it will be 66.
66.
Now we have to find the difference. Okay, so difference will be 66 minus 60.5, which is equal to 5.5.
So, ma'am, in the first case, what you do was taking the mean of 11th and 12th observation, na?
Yes. Okay, so next we have placement statistics for the year 2020 of a polytechnic college that grants degree in computer science engineering and information technology is given in the table Q.1. Okay,
Ma'am,
so the data is given.
ma'am, please elaborate all the options because I select the option and I get confused. In this question,
11th,
yeah.
yeah, I am coming to that question only. Okay, so question 11 is which of the following is are cases? So what are the cases in this data set?
Which data is collected? Roll number.
Roll numbers are case.
Yeah,
Each
so
roll
all
number.
these roll numbers CS18B001, IT18B001. So all these are the observations or cases. So we can see that.
Ma'am,
Yeah, 1 minute. I'm explaining this question only. Okay. So these three are seems like roll numbers. Okay. So
No.
IT18B001. You can find it in the second row.
Third one is not available in roll number, I think.
Okay. Then CS18B005. So yeah, this one CS18B005. This is also in our data set. Then IT18B009. So
Ma'am, there is one.
IT,
This is
it is
not
not
available.
available in the data set. You can see up to IT18B005, we have taken the data set. Okay, so this roll number is not in the data set that we have collected here. Okay, so only these two
Mm,
will be the cases here.
Ma'am,
So
earlier
why this
it
is
has
no
been
case?
said that
Yeah, I made mistake, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, what What I said
Yeah,
earlier.
I was thinking that this is case because always this come. I didn't check. That's why I
Yeah,
was thinking this is case. This is look like roll number, but I
yeah,
should check.
it's also a roll number, but the thing is, it is not included in the data set. For this variable, we have not collected the data. Okay, so
So,
that's
ma'am,
why it is
Ma'am,
not a case or observation here.
I also have a mistake here. Sorry.
ma'am, cases should be in rows, na? But why it is in column?
So you can see for each case we have one row. For CS1A to B001, we have collected the information. So this person is a male and has scored 85%. Specialization is CSE and
So in this row we have cases. You are saying that in first row we have all the cases of CS18B001.
not like that. It is like for each case or variable, you have
Yeah.
one row in which all the information will be collected. Okay, so these roll numbers, like these roll number will be some different persons, okay? Some students, okay?
Okay.
So
Okay.
the first case is this roll number.
Yes, ma'am.
So for this roll number, whatever the person is, we have collected the information, these variables, then gender, score percentage, specialization, and placement and salary. So this is the case or observation. Next observation is IT18B001.
So, ma'am, why it has been said that rows represent cases?
Row represents
Single.
cases, it's not like that. Every case or observation has its own unique row. It's like that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and what are the variables in this data set?
Gender, score
Gender,
percentage,
score,
Gender, score,
percentage,
percentage,
specialization.
specialization, placement.
And this roll number also. Because in this roll number
Yeah,
variable,
as
we have the different values of roll number. Okay.
Ma'am, but in the course we have seen that there was a line variable are in the column, but variables are in the rows, ma'am. Here.
Variable are in the column. You can see for variables will have its own unique column. Each
Okay.
variable will be having one column. You can see score percentage is a variable which has
Okay.
different values arranged in the column. 85, 95, 75%.
Okay.
These are the different values that score percentage is taking.
Okay.
Like that. So roll number is also a variable. If we talk about cases, so CS18B001, this is one case. IT18B001, this is another case. So okay, so these different values, these are our cases. Okay, and then roll number, gender, score percentage, specialization, placement status, and salary. These are our variables. Now is it
Ma'am,
clear?
ma'am, if I add a serial number in this data set, okay. Suppose if we add the serial number in this data set, then serial number is also a variable or not?
Serial number you can add, but actually the serial number will always be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but it is not giving you any information.
Okay.
So you are
There will
collecting
be
the data on the basis of different roll numbers.
Okay.
You can say that it is varying, but actually it's not giving you any information. So
Okay.
don't need to consider that.
Serial number will be cases, no?
Again, you are getting confused. The serial number might
No,
be
If
no.
we
cases
add
if
if we
you
add
are.
serial numbers, then they will be considered as cases.
Why are you adding serial number?
No, this person was just asking about
Okay,
serial number.
okay, okay,
That's why I
okay. In
was.
that way, you mean that if we add the column of serial number,
Yeah.
okay, but it's like you are collecting the data on the basis of roll numbers. You're just arranging them like in serial number.
From serial number, we will not get exact information about student, right?
Yeah.
If you put serial
Ma'am,
number,
over here are roll numbers cases. Variables are, is the roll number a variable?
Wait. Don't get confused with this thing. See, roll number this rule number ROLLNO number. Okay, this is the variable. It has different values within this. Okay, like something CSIT like this. Okay, so this roll number is variable which has different values in it. But if you talk particularly that CS 0, B 800 or 1 like this, so this particular thing is a case or variable. Sorry, case or observation.
So I mean, in the course, it has been said rows represent cases or observation.
Actually, that see, okay, maybe that person question, maybe I can tell. See, the informations associated with that particular case, it's a case, right, madam? The
Yeah,
rows,
this
what?
is a
Yeah,
particular case.
yeah. So particularly, he is asking all the rows information will be case. So that's only the maybe have confusion actually. So for that case, it's associated information of the entire row for the particular case. It's a case, right?
See, I don't know what you guys are interpreting with this line, but the thing is that we have a case or observation here. Okay, so this is our case. For this case, we have gathered the information and we write it, we arrange it in the column. Okay, so we have different variables as gender, okay, score percentage, okay, placement status, salary. Okay, we have gathered the information like this particular person has gender female or male, score suppose 85%, placement status is suppose place. So in one row, you will get the information for this particular case. So that is, we want to
So
make
that's
you
why it is
understand with
row
that line.
represent cases. Okay. So for every
Yeah.
row, there is every case.
Yeah.
The
So
person was saying
for
that for
every
every row,
case,
there is every row. For
yeah. So
each
you can
case,
see. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can see that this is one row, this is second row, this is third row. So this is one case, this is second case, this is third case. Okay, so this only is the case, and in this in this row, you will have you will be having the information on this particular case.
Yeah. So in other way, madam, can you go to the table? Maybe that person asked the entire row. So ask now, can you go to table? So maybe here we cannot able to find the duplication. So that particular item, the first column related to every records is a case, and the column roll number it's related to the variable. All columns it's a variable, but
Yes.
the individual records we won't find any duplication. That is the way we can identify the case, right?
So in these, like these are the cases, they will not be repeating itself.
Repeating, yeah. So that's the way
Yeah,
we
so
can,
these,
because this question, what now next column there is a M, F and all available now. So
yeah,
this that is the reason in he asking the entire row is a case. So here the repetition is there. So we maybe like in this way maybe we can understand.
yeah, you can understand in this way also.
Because if there is a repetition, it's not a variable. You are saying that, na?
Repetition, see, column is a variable, and in this column maybe there is a variable is there. See here, male, female is every case it will be there information. But the first column, the roll number, the column, the title, roll number is a variable, but individual one items, that numbers, IDs, that IDs and all cases. Right, madam?
Yeah, these different roll numbers are the different cases because they are unique. So, which means like if you think that you are suppose you have 10 students in a class. Okay, don't take this example. Let's take 10 customers are visiting to a shop. Okay, so we are gathering the information for 10 customers. Okay, so in column, okay, so suppose we are collecting the data and the first we are writing the customer name. Okay, and then we are gathering the like other information. So like we can write the item name, okay, or then we can like the quantity, how much they have purchased, okay, and the other information whatever we want to collect. Okay, so maybe, okay, so we are collecting the data for 10 different customers that have visited to our shop.
So for
So
first column
definitely
there
we
is
will
one
not
variable.
be,
For the second column there is other variable. For the third column we have other variable. It's like that. Okay.
so customer name is a variable, okay, and then item name is a variable, then quantity is a variable.
Okay.
Okay, so item name, so we will be having some item name, whatever the person is purchasing. Quantity will be like quantity, like how much in quantity they are purchasing the particular item, like that.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so these individual customers will be your cases, because we are collecting the data for the customers who are visiting in the shop.
Cases, or we can say they are observation also.
Yeah,
Okay.
they are cases or observations. Okay, now for
And the
each,
customer name, yeah, ma'am.
yeah, and for each customer we are collecting the information. Okay, so for each customer you will be having one row. This is the meaning. Okay,
Okay, ma'am. And
these
customer
are
name,
the
item name,
variables.
quantity, they are variables. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, because variable is something that is varying, which have different values. So customer name can have different values. Okay, okay, and don't get confused. Like two person may have the same name. Okay, but they are different person. Okay, so don't get confused with that it should be unique or like this. Okay, maybe two person have the same name. Okay, but they
Okay.
two have their different individuality. Okay, next is, which of the following are numerical variable? So specialization, score percentage, placement status, and salary. So what will be the numerical variables?
It's salary, ma'am.
Score percentage also.
Score and
Score
salary.
percentage.
Okay, so score percentage is also in a numerical form, and salary also. Placement status is categorical. Okay, so it has two categories: placed and not placed. And gender also, it is male and female. And we have specialization.
Ma'am,
So
percentage
specialize,
is continuous variable or discrete?
it will be continuous.
Okay.
Okay, specialization also is a categorical variable. Okay, CSCIT. So these two categories we have in this data. Okay, so only score percentage and salary are two numerical
Ma'am,
variables here.
score percentage is continuous. Why? Because it can have a point. It can
Yeah,
be in
score
point also.
percentage is like percentage. Okay, it's not like it should always be 85%. It can be
Okay, yeah. That
85.67
is the
or
only
any
reason,
value.
ma'am. That is the only reason it is continuous, because it's not. It can be in the points. Okay.
Ma'am, out of our data set here,
Hmm.
there is no case in which score percentage is in decimal. So for our data set, we cannot generalize it to any percentage. In our data set, there is no decimal value.
Yeah, in this particular data set, we don't have uh, like values in decimal. But if you talk
Yes, ma'am.
about
Yeah.
percentage, so percentage can be in decimal also, right?
No,
Like
when we
from
talk
0 to
about
100. Hmm.
yes, ma'am. I agree to you that in any other terms, percentage can be in decimal also. But
Hmm.
if we consider only our data set, in that data set we are not given with any value with decimal.
Yeah,
So
here
just
we are not
focusing.
given.
Yes, ma'am. So if we answer based upon our data set only, so doesn't it seem that it will be a discrete value, not
But
the continuous?
the particular variable score percentage is by general, and in general, it is considered by everybody as a continuous,
Okay,
because it
so
can be in
how
percentage.
we are defining the score percentage? So it will be mentioned. If it is a discrete, then it will be mentioned that we are taking only the integer values only. So it will be mentioned particularly for a data set how we are taking that percentage value. If we are taking all the values between 0 to 100 percentage, or we are taking only the integer value only like 1%, 2%, 80%, 90% only.
Here, ma'am, only integer values have been taken in this data set.
But it is like it can be mentioned maybe. So we can go to the next question.
If we are defining percentage in a different way, then it will be mentioned. Otherwise, percentage will be a continuous variable.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so next question is, what is the population standard deviation of the salary in INR, lakhs of placed students? Okay, and so we have to ignore the cases of students who are not placed. So there are some students who are not placed, leave those cases. Okay, and then you have to calculate the standard deviation. Yeah,
Yeah,
population
I solve
standard
it.
deviation. Okay, so for those students, you have to find out the population standard deviation. So can you all do this question?
Yes, ma'am. I solve it, ma'am.
Yes,
Anyone
ma'am.
need to solve it? Or everyone can solve it? So we just have to use the simple formula of standard deviation. Okay, I'm just giving you an overview of it. So the formula of population standard deviation. Okay, so first of all, okay, population standard deviation. Okay, so it is the square root of summation of xi minus x bar whole square divided by capital M, right? So in xi, you just have to write all the values. Okay, so the values will be this. You have to find for the salary. So 8.5, 4, 3, 4, then 5, 7, 3, 14, 3.5, 10, and 4. Okay, and it is clearly mentioned here that we have to ignore the cases of the students who are not placed. Okay, so don't worry about those things. Just take the values for those students who are placed and have some salary. Okay, so just find xi value and then you can find the mean. Okay, mean x bar. Then in the next column, you can find xi minus x bar, the deviation. Then you can find the xi minus x bar whole square. Then you have to take the summation of this column, which will give you summation of xi minus x bar whole square. Okay, and then you just put the value in the formula. You have numerator part. Okay, and divide by the total number of observation. Okay, here you will take those observation like for those students who are placed. Okay, so total number of students who are placed. Divide by that number. So that in this way you will get the population standard deviation of salary
Ma'am,
for the students who are
the
placed.
n when we divide by n, that is also in the root, na ma'am. The n.
Yeah, it is in the root only.
Okay.
Yeah, it is in the root only.
The only difference between the standard deviation and standard variance is just the root, na ma'am. In standard deviation there is root, and in standard variation there is no root.
What is standard variation?
Sorry, standard variance.
What is standard variance?
Variance, population variance and sample variance. The difference is
It's not a standard variance. It's only population variance or sample
yeah,
variance. Okay.
yeah, ma'am. For that there is no root, na, in that, and in standard deviation there is root.
Yeah, standard deviation is the square root of variance.
Yeah, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
I have a small query. Will salary be counted as discrete or continuous?
So salary will also be continuous.
Because is it because it is in decimal?
Okay, the thing is like it can take any value. Don't think like it's decimal or not. So if you take this example, Okay, maybe you are having a variable x, okay, which takes value, suppose 1.1, 1.3, 1.5, 1.7, suppose. So this is one variable which is taking only these four values. Then what kind of variable it will be? Discrete or continuous?
Ma'am, it is continuous because it's
Discrete.
in the point, na?
It will be
If it
discrete.
can take if it can take only 4 values, it will be discrete.
Yeah, so it is taking only these four values. So even if they are in decimal, but the variable is taking these four values only, then it will be discrete.
Ma'am, why?
So discrete is something that takes distinct values on the real line.
Because these are unique
Okay.
values.
Yes, ma'am.
And that cannot take the values between two values. Suppose it is okay, so it is 1.1, 1.3, 1.5, suppose, and 1.7, let's say.
Okay.
Okay. And the variable is not taking values between 1.1 and 1.3, right? It's not taking values between 1.3 and 1.5.
Okay.
And it is countable. We can say that x is taking four values, right? If it is continuous, we cannot say if x is taking four values only.
What, ma'am? If it is continuous, we cannot say that.
So discrete is something which is countable.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. And continuous is something we measure. So continuous is something that can take any value in the interval. Okay, suppose we have, if you talk about percentage, let's say, so from 0 to 100, it can be any value, right? It can be 88.87 percentage also, or 80% also, right? Or 89.2% also, which means it can take any value between in the interval.
Okay, ma'am.
That we cannot count because from 0 to 100, there can be infinite number of data points, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
So now you can see in the case of salary, it can take any value, right? It is 8.54 or maybe 4.6
Ma'am,
or
in this case, it can take any value, but otherwise, we say like salary is countable, right? In general.
salary countable. So countable salary will be countable.
It has a
According to
measurement
you.
unit of INR. So
It will not be countable,
It
I
will be
guess.
measured. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so it will be a continuous variable. It can take any value. It's
Okay, ma'am.
not
Thank
like
you.
that it should be only integer like 4 lakh or 5 lakh only.
Ma'am, can you explain cases in this?
Ma'am, here in the last thing, what you explained, ma'am, just the last thing that you in the last, yeah, here you were saying 1.1, 1.3, 1.5, 1.7 are basically you were saying discrete because they
Continuous.
can be plotted on
In this
number line.
particular question, in this particular example only, okay?
Yeah,
Not in
ma'am.
general.
Okay, so
Okay,
in
so I
this
have
exam,
hmm.
in this one, how you gave an example because there is no variable in between, no observation in between. That's why that is the logic you gave it for the discrete, ma'am.
Yeah, because the variable x is taking only these four values only.
Okay,
Nothing else. Okay, no other
okay.
value is taken by x.
And if there is 1.2 also here, then also it is discrete.
If you
Then
are
it is
adding one more
continuous.
point, if you
1.2
are
also there
adding
is.
one, if you are adding one
No,
more point,
no,
then also it
not
will be.
not adding one point. Yeah, in this there are four. If there is the fifth one, 1.2.
Yeah,
Yeah, then
1.1,
it will.
1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6 is
So
there,
then
so
all
it is continuous.
it is discrete now.
You are not getting what I am trying to say.
No, my
Okay,
God.
okay. Suppose. See, if you have suppose some some box or like anything you can consider, or bag, which can take only 15 kg. Okay, so it can be taking any value between 0 to 15 kg.
Yes.
Okay, it's not like it should be a fixed value.
Okay.
So if it is something like that, if you are saying that from 1.1 to 1.3, it can take any value. So can you tell
Okay.
me how many points are there will be in between 1.1 to 1.3? Can you guess? Can you tell me?
1.1 and 1.3.
Yeah, how many, if it is a continuous, and how many data points will be there in between 1.1 and 1.3?
It would be infinite, ma'am.
It will be infinite, right? So
Yeah.
that's why it is continuous, because we
Okay.
cannot count it.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay,
And
but if we can count it, if you're adding one more data point, 1.2 and 1.6 also, you're just adding two values here.
yeah, ma'am.
In
So it is
total,
distinct.
okay, in total we have 6 values only.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, we can count it. Okay, so that
So it
is
is
why it
discrete.
is discrete.
Okay.
If
Okay,
you are
ma'am.
saying that x is taking value from 1.1 to 1.7 in this interval, then it will be continuous. Okay.
Ma'am, can you explain cases?
I have already explained it multiple times.
Ye-
You were not listening to me.
No, ma'am, I
Yes.
just left in between.
Okay, what are the cases according to you?
Uh, the IT one and CS one.
In this first column, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so cases or observation is something for which we collect the data. Okay, so you can see for this particular roll number, CS18B001, okay, this is one roll number. And for this roll number, we have collected the data that whether this person is a male or female, okay, what is the score percentage for this person, what is his or her specialization, placed or not, and salary. Okay, so this is one case for which we have collected this data, this information.
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
next we have collected the data for the next roll number. Okay, same values we have collected. Okay,
Okay.
so these different roll numbers will be
Cases.
so CS, yeah, CS18B001, IT18B001, these
Okay, okay.
up to the last. So these will be our cases or observation.
Any other questions can we ask from this?
Yeah,
Like
what question?
rows and like rows.
Okay, what is variable? Can you tell me?
85% and a salary percentage in salary.
Ma'am,
What? 85%?
Score percentage and salary.
Only these two are the variables here.
Yes.
Why not others? What is specialization and placement status then?
Okay. These are also variable.
Okay, so all the values, all these roll number, gender, score percentage, specialization, placement status, and salary. All
These
these
are
are
variable.
the variables. So you can see that they are taking the different values. Variable is something that varies, that can take different values.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see score percentage is varying. Someone has 85%, someone has 95% or 92%, like this.
And variables are defined into categories, numerical and category.
Yeah, we can have numerical variable or categorical variable.
Okay.
Okay, but all these are variable. So gender is a categorical variable here. Score percentage is a numerical variable here.
Numerical. Salary to numerical.
Okay, next question is. Yeah, so can you all find this population standard deviation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So
3.4.
everyone is getting the answer between the range.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
getting.
ma'am.
Okay. Next, we have to find what is the absolute value of the point biserial correlation coefficient of association between gender and salary among the students. Okay, why we find a point by serial correlation coefficient?
0.54 because we are thinking if there is any correlation between gender and salary.
To find linear relationship between the categorical and numerical variables.
Okay, so when we have one categorical variable and one numerical variable, then we use find biserial correlation coefficient to have the idea between the to have the idea of the relationship of those two variables, right? So
Yes,
the
ma'am.
formula
Yes,
for
ma'am.
find biserial correlation coefficient is so suppose we have okay, so we have two gender and salary two variables here. So gender, suppose it is salary is a numerical variable and gender is a categorical variable. So suppose salary is represented by X and gender with a Y. Okay, it's your choice. Okay, I'm taking X as salary and Y for gender. So then for find biserial correlation coefficient, it will be Y0 bar minus Y1 bar divided by the standard deviation of X, okay, into
P0
square
P.
root of P0 into P1. Now understand what is Y0 bar and Y1 bar. So Y I am taking as a
Mean.
categorical variable. Okay, so it has two categories here. Okay, so suppose Y0 and Y1. So you can suppose that Y0 is for the male students and Y1 is for female students. Okay, so Y0 bar will be the average salary for male students, and Y1 bar will be the average salary. Okay, let me write it also.
Ma'am,
So Y0 bar will be the average salary.
Ma'am, why is gender, right?
ma'am, why not either be male or female, na?
What?
Why not either be male or female?
You can take
If
Y1 as female and Y0 as
can we
female.
take, na?
Yes, yes. It depends on you.
Okay.
Okay, so Y0 will be representing the average salary of male students, and Y1 bar will be representing the average salary of female students. Okay, then standard deviation of X. So standard deviation, so we know that X is the salary. So we just have to take the standard deviation of the salary column. Okay, and P0 and P1 is, so P0 is the proportion.
Ma'am, it is the standard deviation of X, so it is a population or it's a sample standard deviation of X?
So here we take population because we haven't have like this, whatever we have, we take population standard deviations.
Until unless it's not mentioned, we'll take population only.
Not like that, but for this case, we take population. Otherwise, you have to decide whether it is a population or it's a sample. So P0 will be representing the proportion of male students in total, and P1 will be representing the proportion of female students. Okay, don't get confused with this P0 and P1. Okay, so I am taking Y0, 0 for male and 1 for female. Okay, so corresponding to that, P0 will be representing the proportion for male and P1 will be representing the proportion for female.
Madam, sorry to interrupt.
It's your choice if you are wanting to represent the Y0 for female and Y1 for male. That is also fine.
Madam,
How to find the proportion of male student? We just have to divide, na?
Yes. Okay.
Male
So
by female, whole number.
male by total students.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
and
okay,
for
okay.
P1, it will be the total female students divided by the total students.
Madam, here some cases will be given the ignored. So
Uh,
we need to remove from the observation also, right? So we don't want to consider say, the n quantity. I'm asking for the
yes,
calculation.
we don't. Yeah, for N also you will exclude those terms.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so because it is mentioned here that ignore the cases of students who are not placed. Okay, so you can see. So just count the total students who are placed. So it will be you can count with this column. So it will
So,
be
ma'am, so when we're finding the proportion of male student, we we have to consider who are not, we don't have to consider those students who are not placed
yes.
in the proportion.
Yes.
When we divide it by the proportion of a male student of this
The
salary,
total
when
students.
of the total student who are not placed.
Yeah, total students for also we will taking only those students who are placed, and we will leave those part who are not placed.
Okay.
Okay,
So, ma'am, this
so
formula
here
RBBB, what it is called? It is called coefficient.
it is a point biserial correlation coefficient. So PB is point biserial, and R represents correlation in general.
Ma'am, please open the slide, last slide, because I want to take a screenshot, please.
So, ma'am, here when we'll take the P naught P0 proportion of a male student, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So it will be of the students who are placed upon the male student upon
Okay,
the
I'm
total.
solving this question. Don't get confused with it. Okay. So first of all, we have to find Y naught bar and Y1 bar, which means the male students average salary for male students who are placed, and average salary for female students who are placed. Okay. So you can see how many students are male who are placed.
5.
5. Okay.
5.
And the salary are 8.54. Then
14.
Yeah,
then
total
40.
3.5.
Then 3.5 and 10.
10.
Now find out the average of all these values.
40.
8.
40 by 5. 8.
8.
Okay. Okay. So for male student, Y naught bar will be 40 by 5, which is 8. Okay. Similarly, find it for female student also.
Female
So
4.
for
Answer
which
is
are
4.
okay. So for female, we have this value 3, 4. Okay. Then we have 7 and 3. Okay. Then we have 4. So what will be the total value?
26.
26. 26, and they are 6 in
By
number,
6.
right?
Yeah.
So 26 by 6 will be
4.33.
4.33. Okay. Now next we have to find the proportion and standard deviation. So standard deviation already we have calculated in the last question. If you have done that.
3.364.
3.36.
3.36. Okay. Now we have to find the proportion. P1 and so P0. So total male students who are placed is 5.
5.
Okay, so 5 divided by total all the female and male who are placed is
11.
5 plus 6. 11. Okay.
11.
Okay, and P1 will be 6 by 11. Okay, so now we have to find the value of point biserial correlation coefficient. Okay, so just put all the values. So
The difference is 3.7.
8 minus 4.33 divided by standard deviation is 3.36. Okay, and we have to take the absolute value. Okay, square root of P1 and P0. Okay, so 5 by 11 into 6 by 11. Okay, and
Ma'am,
here we take
when we
absolute value because we know that Like it's a categorical variable, which is nominal, male or female. Okay, so either you can take y0 bar minus y1 bar or y1 bar minus y0 bar. So that's why we take the difference and take the absolute value. So what is the answer?
Ma'am, what was the last sentence you said?
I'm saying that we take, so in the question, in the formula, you can see we are taking this y0 minus y1 bar. So basically, we have to take the difference. So we take absolute value.
Okay. So
Okay,
if it is
because if
7.1, we have to take 8, kind of.
so, if you are taking female at first and male at second number, so it will be 4.33 minus 8. So you just have to take the difference, absolute difference. Don't
Okay,
worry
okay.
about the sign. Okay. So that is not like you always have to subtract 8 like bigger value from the smallest value.
Okay, we have to ignore
So
the
that's why
negative.
we, yeah, that's why we have to take difference, which means we have to take the absolute value. So after solving, it will be
0.543.
0.543.
okay, 0.543.
It should be 2 decimal.
Okay, so 5, 4. Okay, done.
Ma'am, just in the
0.54.
slide, ma'am, when we go to the slide, uh, so here, when we do 8 minus 4.33, it would be in point. So we have to consider that point, na?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. And when we were calculating the standard deviation, it has to be a population one, so we have to divide by n, not n minus 1, na? So we have to divide by n, not n minus 1, because it's a population one.
Yes.
And we have considered here mod RBP. We have considered mod that 8 minus 4.33. Its significance is only that there has to be no negative sign. That is the only reason, na? We have considered
Yes.
that. Okay. That there has to be no negative sign. The points can be there, but not a negative sign.
Just try to understand why we are taking the absolute value.
Okay, ma'am.
So you are taking that y0 is male and y1 is female. What if someone else take y0 for female and y1 for male? Okay, that is also possible.
Okay, ma'am.
So
Okay.
then in that case, it will be 4.33 minus 8. Then in
Okay.
that case, every person will be getting the different answer. Like it can be negative also in that case. Okay, so that's why it's a categorical variable. We are not preferring that male is greater than female or female is greater than male. So we just have to take the difference between these two. Okay, so
Okay, ma'am.
that's why we take absolute value.
Okay. But this sign of absolute is in the numerator only, na, ma'am? You have put it in the
Yeah,
denominator.
for numerical, for numerator only.
Yeah. Yeah. You have put it on 3.36 also, so that why.
Okay, so the last, yeah, this is the last one, I think. Okay. Yeah, so 15th question is annual donation to a non-profitable organization is given in table 2.2, where some data is missing. Donations given by company B is 5 crore rupees more than company D. So how much did company D donate to the organization? How did you solve it?
B for 5 and D for 5 plus y.
First
Firstly, I
calculate
find
Then
total donation.
total is 200. 56 by 0.28.
Yeah, so you can find the total values by using any of them. So 56 divided by 0.28, that
Is
will give you the
200.
total value as 200.
200.
Okay, so now we have 200 total value. Okay, now we are given that donations given by company B is 5 crore more than the company D. So suppose we have A, B, C, and D. So for D, suppose it is X, then for B, it is 5 crore more than D. So it will be 5 plus
X
X.
plus 5.
Yeah, it's plus 5 or 5 plus X. Okay. And it is 56, 45, and 16. 56, 45, and 60. Okay, now you can find the, we know that the total is 200. Okay, so from here you can find the value of X.
No, ma'am. B is 5 and D is 5 plus X. First, we have to assume X and Y. Like 56 by T, 5 plus T by T, and X by T and Y by T, and 16 by T. Then we equal to 200. Then we get a value of X and Y.
Why? We are given here, you can directly see that 56, 45, and 16 for A, C, and E. And for B and D, we are given that the donation given by B is 5 crore more than D. If it is D, if it is X, then for B it will be 5 plus X, right?
Ma'am, you get the 200 when you divide
Correct, ma'am.
56 by
Okay,
0.28.
ma'am. Continue.
Okay, and
Ma'am,
you
you
know
got
that.
200. Ma'am, you got
Okay, ma'am.
200 when you
Continue.
divide by.
Okay, how we get 200? So we have the formula of relative frequency is as the frequency of that particular thing divided by the total
Right?
frequency
Total
or
observed.
total number of observation. Okay, so for the first case, you can use any of the case 56 to like for A, for C or E, any case you can use. Okay,
So we
so
can divide
relative
56
frequency
by
is
56 divided
0.28.
by 0.28. That's how you got 200.
Yes.
Or we can also
Whenever
divide 45
one
by
thing,
point.
whenever I'm explaining something, then let me explain it first, then you ask your
Okay.
question. Okay,
Okay.
so relative frequency is 0.28 and the amount donated is 56. Okay, so relative frequency is 0.28 and it is 56, right? And we have to find the total. Okay, so total will be 56 divided by 0.28, which will be equal to 200. Okay, so now you can see that the summation of all these will be equal to 200. Okay, now is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So from here you can find the value of A. Okay, what will be the value of X?
$39, ma'am.
44.
It will be 39.
39.
Okay, so
Can you please help with solving this?
can't you solve this equation?
Yes.
Okay, just take the summation of these four values. So it will be 2x equals to 200 minus
122.
5
That is 78.
plus 45 plus 60. So 2x equals to 200 minus summation of these.
122.
Is it 122?
122.
Okay, so from here you can find the value of x as 39.
78. Right.
Now is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, when we were finding the relative frequency, it's a frequency by total number of observation. Yeah, ma'am. So we could have taken any row there. We have taken 0.28
Yes.
and 56. So even
Yeah.
when we'll go to the question, once we can also divide 45 by 0.225, na?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
One thing.
Okay, so x will be 39.
There is given.
Okay, so what is x? X was like how much did company D donate? Okay, so D for D it was x. Okay, so
X plus
It
5.
will be 39.
Just one doubt.
Hmm.
We have already given the donation given by company B is 5, right? So why are we not like 56 plus 5 plus 45 plus X plus 6?
No, what you are saying, the donation given by company B is?
5 CR.
It's 5 CR more than the company D.
Okay.
Not 5 CR. See this line, read this line carefully. This line. The donation given by company B is 5 crore rupees more than the company D. Okay, and for D also, we don't know how much they have donated. Okay, so we are supposing that for D, donated amount is X. Then for B, it will be X plus 5.
Okay.
All these amounts are in crore only, okay? So X plus 5 it will be.
Okay.
Now next is the histogram of runs scored by a batsman in his career is given in the figure. First question is, what is the approximate mean of the runs
50.
scored by batsman? So here you just have to write all the intervals, write their frequencies, then write all the midpoint for the interval, and then you can use the formula. Okay, so intervals
And the
are
formula
given
for
like,
this is, ma'am,
yes,
I think the formula for this question is F summation of F mi something upon total, right?
yes.
Summation of F mi
So,
upon summation of F.
so X bar will be equal to summation of Fi into Xi divided by summation of Fi. Okay, so in the first column, you can write all the intervals. So 5 to 15 up to 95 to 105. Okay, then you have to write the frequency. Okay, so from the histogram, you can see the frequency for 5 to 15 is 1, 15 to 25 it is 3, 25 to 35 it is 4, then 35 to 45 it is again 4, then for 45 to 55 it is 3, for 55 to 65 it is 4. Similarly, you can find for these values also. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
so how you have to write? So for 5 to 15 it was 1, for 15 to 25 it was 3. Okay, then you just have to find the midpoint. Okay, so midpoint, I am representing it as xi value. Okay, so midpoint is what? The average of the lower and upper classmate. Okay, so midpoint will
10.
be 5
10.
plus 15 divided by 2, which is equal to 10.
10.
So for next, it will be 20,
20.
like this. Okay, then you just have to find fi into xi. Okay, so it will be 10. Okay, 60, like this.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, now you can find it. So for all the
Yes, ma'am.
values, you have to find this value and just take, if you take the summation of this column, it will give you summation of fi into xi.
Which is 1250 divided by
Okay,
25.
and it will be summation of fi.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, okay.
Ma'am, can you show us the last slide? I just wanted to take a screenshot. The last slide of relative frequency formula that you. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so in this way, you can find the mean.
Okay, ma'am. Just go for the next.
Yeah. Okay, next is, what is the approximate population standard deviation of the runs scored by batsman? Okay, so in the same table, you can do some
Ma'am,
more
here
calculations.
in this question, I have doubt of one thing.
Yeah, what?
In the here, ma'am, xi minus x mean the whole square, right? We have then we have also find y minus y mean. For x and y mean we multiplied the both. That I'm not getting. Can we solve this in detail?
Population standard deviation one or this means?
No, the one you are on it.
Yeah, standard deviation, right?
Yes, yes. For 70.
Yeah. So
Here I'm confused.
so here the formula that we will use is for the standard deviation, population standard deviation of x value. So it is equal to square root of summation of fi into xi minus x bar whole square divided by summation of fi. Okay, so whenever we have frequencies attached, so we have to multiply with frequency also. Okay.
Ma'am, if there was no frequency, then the only difference is we have to remove the fi1, na? That's all.
Yeah, in this part, yeah.
And in the denominator, we have to remove sigma f1 and just replace it with n.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Explain this.
In that case, each observation will be occurring one time only.
Yes, ma'am. We are multiplying by frequency. That's what.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
we have to multiply by frequency here. Okay.
How, ma'am? How
Will be
can
one.
we?
What?
If same question comes with different numbers, and how can we interpret?
Okay, so for this question, what you have to find? You have to find the xi minus x bar whole square. Okay, so these are your xi value, these midpoints. Okay, so this is your xi value in this column. Okay, so the thing you have to find next is xi minus x bar. Okay, and then you have to take square of it. Okay, so first of all, you will find the mean that you have already calculated in the previous question. Okay, now xi, these are the xi value, then take the deviation from the mean. Okay, so it is like 10 minus 50 whole square. Okay, then what you have to do? Just multiply it with the fi value. So fi into xi minus x bar whole square. So xi minus x bar whole square is this value, right? 10
Yes.
minus 50 whole square.
Whole square.
Then you just have to multiply it with frequency, which is 1 here.
And
okay, for
3,
second it will be 3 into, and this will be 60 minus.
And divided by 2.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
20 minus 50,
20.
ma'am.
Yeah, 20 minus 50 whole square. Okay, so it will be 3 into 20 minus 50 whole square. Okay, and you take summation of this column, it will be summation of fi into xi minus x bar whole square, which is the numerator part of it. Okay, and summation fi is nothing but the same. This is summation of all the frequencies, and you will get the standard deviation of x.
If frequency is not given, then the formula is same.
Yeah, then the formula will be like this only, that square root of summation of xi minus x bar divided by summation of fi. Okay, so you can see that frequency is not given, which means frequency is 1.
Not n.
N is nothing but the summation of fi only.
Okay.
Okay, so summation of fi. So maybe, so there are two cases. Maybe observations are occurring for one time only. In that case, you will not be given the frequency. If the observations are occurring for more than one time, then they will be having some frequency.
Okay. Like in interval.
So what we are doing, we are just multiplying by 1 here in that case. Okay.
Ma'am, in the formula that you have just written, sigma under root of sigma x1 minus x bar ka whole square upon sigma f. So here sigma, we can replace sigma f by n, na ma'am, because the frequency is not given.
Okay, what is n? What do you understand by capital N or small n?
Total number of
Observations, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, so total, yeah, you can write. Don't get confused with these terminologies. So
Okay,
this is also capital N only.
Okay.
Okay,
But
capital N is nothing but the summation of frequency.
So at that time there will be 1 1 1 1 1 1. All the whole column would be 1 1 1 1 1 1. So it would be because there is no frequency.
Yeah, so in that case, you can say it like,
It would
okay,
be
in
1
that
1
case, the
1.
data will not be in the interval form, I guess. Okay, so it will be, yeah, 1 1 1, or you can say the total number of observation. If you count it,
Okay. That's all. Total number of
okay,
observation or
if you count, if you take summation of Fi also, that is also equal to the total number of observation only.
yeah, ma'am. Okay.
These two are same thing, not different.
Yeah, ma'am. But even if one observation is having a frequency more than one, then we have to use the above formula under root of sigma f1 upon x1
Yes, yeah,
minus
yeah,
x
yeah.
bar.
Hmm.
All the other observation have frequency 1 1 1, but if one frequency is
Yeah, if
having,
only, yeah, if some of the observation are having frequency, then also you will use this formula only.
If
I was
in the same question, if in the
Hmm.
same question, ma'am, instead of population variance, if we needed to calculate not standard deviation, if instead of population standard deviation, we needed to calculate sample standard deviation, then
Then you
there will
will
be any
do
change in
n
formula.
minus 1, you will do.
sigma
Sigma
f.
fi minus 1. Hello?
Yeah. So it is like total. Okay, so if you are given the sample, right? So it will be the total number of observation in the sample minus 1. So if some observation are having some frequency, you can write it like summation of Fi. Okay.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
this is nothing
Okay.
but the like total number of observation minus 1, and that is for sample. If you are given the entire population, then it will be total number of observation in the entire population.
Ma'am, if all the observation is having single frequency, but one observation is having more than single frequency, we'll use the this formula na, of f1 sigma f1 upon x1 minus x bar.
Yeah, sigma Fi. It is not F1. Okay.
Yeah, fi.
Yeah, this one.
So actually, ma'am, when the frequency is 1 for each of the observation, and we for calculation of sample variance, we take the value of sample as n minus 1, then basically we are removing one case for calculation of variance or st. But here, if the frequency is more than 1 for each of the case, and still we are just deducting one out of total numbers, then in that scenario, the removal of one case will not happen.
See,
So is it?
this is not the reason why we divide n minus 1. That is a different case. See, in population standard deviation or population variance, let's say. Okay, so we divide by n, capital N, which is the total number of observation in the population. And we have sample. What we do is we divide by the n minus 1. So n represents the total number of observation in the sample and minus 1. So the reason is a different topic. I don't know you will be able to understand it or not. The sample variance, you can use this formula also, like 1 upon n summation of xi minus x bar whole square. But when we study about the estimator and all, that is not in your syllabus as of now. So then it is not a unbiased estimator of the population variance. But this one, if you use n minus 1, then it is a unbiased estimator for population variance. So that is something different. I don't think you will be understanding this thing as of now, because you don't have studied the properties of a good estimator. Okay, so there are some reasons why we are using n minus 1 formula.
Because ma'am, you said it's unbiased data. Yeah.
Now data is the estimator.
Unbiased estimation.
Yeah, estimator. Just leave this thing as of now. You will be
Okay.
Confused only otherwise. Okay, now the next question.
Ma'am, please show the slide because I want to take a screenshot, please. Yes, ma'am. Scroll down.
Yeah, so this is the last question. So in a call center, there are 75 employees, and the number of calls they receive vary over the length of the day. The working hours are 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with lunch break from 1 to 2 p.m. The average number of calls received from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. is uh, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. by an employee is 15 per hour. An average number of calls received by the employee from 2 to 6 p.m. is 5 per hour. Then you have to choose which options are correct. So first one is average number of calls received by employee in working hours is 10 calls per hour.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, correct,
So we
ma'am.
have to find the average number of calls received in one day, like in 1 day working hours. Okay, so we are given. So first of all, see this thing that this formula of mean is so x bar is equal to summation of xi divided by n, right? Now first we are given for 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, so in the question, you can see this line that average number of calls received from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. by an employee is 15 per hour. Okay, so this is the average number of call for this time slot. Okay, so x bar, so average call is 15 per hour. Okay, summation xi will be the total number of calls, right? In this time
Yes.
slot 9 to 1, the total number of calls divided by n. So n will be the total hours. Okay, so 9 to 1 it will be 4 hours, right?
Yes.
So you can find the total number of calls. Okay, total number of calls in the time period of 9 to 1 p.m., right? So that will be 15 into 4,
Okay, ma'am.
which is equal to 60, which means during 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., we have got 60 calls in total. Similarly, we can find it for the time slot 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
5 into 4.
Yeah, so
5.
5 is the average. Okay, so total calls divided by 4 hours again. Okay, so total number of calls will be 5 into 4, which is 20. Now we can write that in the entire day, in the working hours, okay, so working hours is from 9 to 1 and 2 to 6. Okay, so total number of calls received okay, in working hours. So that will be equal to 20 plus 60, right? Which is 80. Okay, so 80 number of calls we have received in a day in the working hours. Okay, so 1 to 2 is the lunch time, so we don't have to consider that time period. Okay, now we can find the average, right?
Yes, ma'am. Divide
So
by 8.
average call, okay, so average number of calls received in a working hour, in 1 day working hours will be 80 divided by 4 plus 4. We have total 8 working hours, right? From 9 to 1, 4 hours, and then 2 to 6, 4 hours. So it will be 10. So 10 calls per hour we can say, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so option 1 will be correct.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
next we are given the correlation coefficient of time and calls received is positive. Third option that it is negative. So here you can see that between 9 to 1 p.m., okay, we have 15 on an average. But, or here also you can see
Then
that
it will,
total number of calls we
yeah,
have 60 for 9 to 1. But as the time increases, okay, between 2 to 6 p.m., we have 20 calls only, which means that as the time is increasing, okay, time increasing, but the number of calls decreasing, right? So the correlation will be negative in that case,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay, so as the time is increasing, the number of calls are decreasing. So option number 3 will be correct, that the correlation coefficient of time and calls received is negative. Next is the standard deviation of the call received is equal to 0. So again, the same concept we have to use here, that the standard deviation is 0, which means the variance should be 0, right?
Mm.
And variance should be 0, whether all the values are same or they are 0 only, which means if the number of calls received is same for each hour, then it will be, it can be 0, otherwise not. So you can see that in like 9 to 1, it is 60, then it is 20, which means it is different values it is taking, not the same value. Right? In these 4 hours, we have received 60 number of calls. But in the next 4 hours, we have got only 20 number of calls. Okay, so that is not a constant value which we are getting. So standard deviation will not be 0 in that case. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am. Elaborate the next option.
Okay, next is slope of the trend line is negative. So you know that correlation coefficient is negative. So the slope will also be negative in that case.
Ma'am, we can also use the formula to calculate correlation coefficient. If it is negative, then
If the information is given to us in the question, you can calculate it. Otherwise, we don't have to calculate correlation coefficient here.
okay.
Yeah, anything else?
Ma'am, suppose in this question correlation coefficient can be 0 also. Like if it is 0, what could be the conditions in the data? Suppose it has to be equal. There has to be no change.
What?
Correlation coefficient.
The
Ma'am,
correlation gives you the relation between two variables.
so ma'am, here the correlation coefficient is negative. That's why the slope line is negative. The trend line is negative. If the correlation coefficient is positive, then the trend line has to be positive.
Yes.
I was saying if correlation coefficient is 0, then the slope of trend line should be 0.
Yes.
Okay, and correlation coefficient, if it is 0, there has to be a equality. Like it has not to be changed. Like if it is 15 per,
Then it will not be affecting by the time.
okay. The average number of calls between 9 to 1 is 15 per hour. So 2 to 6 has to be also 15 per hour. Then the correlation coefficient should be 0. Is that okay?
No. It is like that the number of calls is not dependent on the time.
Okay.
Like they are not related to each other.
Okay, but from 9 to 1, it's 15 per hour. And in 2 to 6 also, it's suppose if it is 15 per hour, then correlation coefficient, would it be 0? In a way,
Then you will
neither
need
does
to
it.
calculate it.
Okay.
Here we can see that it is decreasing.
Okay.
But all the time we cannot conclude in this way.
Through the formula, we have to.
With the formula, you can find it. And it gives us a linear relationship.
Ma'am, the second last option, that SD is equal to 0.
Ma'am,
This
what
is
linear
not
relationship,
acceptable.
like if there has to be a linear relationship between time and call. You are saying that.
Yes, yes.
So correlation coefficient is basically define a linear relationship between time and
Yes,
call,
yes.
na?
Yeah.
It is not that kind of a relationship which is constant or which is hyperbolic.
Yeah, those are not in syllabus.
Okay.
Ma'am, the second
Yeah.
last option, that SD equal to 0, it
Hmm.
is not acceptable because of the reason that we don't have the data set, right? Not
No,
because
not
we
like
are
this.
assuming that. Mhm.
I have already
Because, ma'am,
explained you this part.
yes, ma'am, you explained it on the same thing I'm asking. For
Hmm.
example, for the first period of time, if each
Hmm.
hour we are getting the same value of same number of calls as the average value, only then it will be 0,
See, if all
right?
the values are
Because,
same, here you can see
hmm,
in the example. Yeah,
hmm.
if all the
Yeah, in the
values are
above,
same, in that case only the
hmm.
mean will also be equal to that value only. If the values are
That's why I'm
different,
saying.
yeah.
That's why I'm saying, ma'am.
Hmm.
If you go, I was referring to this point only. Then
Yes.
if we go to our this question, the last question,
Hmm.
for this period of time from 9 to 1, if
Hmm.
in each hour we are getting 15
Same.
calls,
Yeah.
15 calls, and then
Yes.
again another hours we are getting the same number of calls
Yeah.
that
So
is equal to
not,
average. In that
yeah.
scenario, SD will be 0.
If you are getting 15 number of calls per hour, it is not the average.
Hmm.
Okay, 15 number of calls per hour. It is fixed for
Then
every
average will
hour
be also be
between
the
9
same.
to 10.
Average will also be same.
Yeah, in that case, average will also be 15 only. So in that case,
Yes,
standard
ma'am.
deviation will be 0.
Yeah.
But you can see
So
that
in
in
case
this
we don't
question,
have the
it is
data set,
not the
ma'am,
case. Yeah. If we don't have the
because
data
we
set,
don't
then
have the data set, ma'am, so we cannot say whether between 9 to 1 for each hour we are getting 15 calls or not getting 15 calls. Similarly, between 2 to 6 for each hour we are getting 5 calls or we are not getting 5 calls. It is not clear because of the absence of the data set. But
so here
data
you can
set can
directly
also be
see
in
this
that way.
thing. Whether
Yes, ma'am.
even if the data set is not given, you can see that between 9 to 1, we are getting on an average 15 per hour, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And for
Mm-hmm.
2 to 6, we are getting 5 per hour on an
5.
average,
Yes, ma'am.
which means that the points are not same. If they are same,
No,
then
ma'am.
average will also be same only.
I'm saying if between 9 to 1, similarly in the other periods also, if in actually for each hour there is 15 calls per hour, all
Hmm.
right. Similar for other time intervals also. In that scenario, the standard deviation will be 0, and the second last option will also be an acceptable answer. Because right now we don't have second last option as an accepted answer. But if we are given the data set, then the
Hmm.
second last option will also be an accepted answer.
Yeah, in that case.
In that case, so we are not selecting the second last option here because we don't have the data set. That's the reason of not including this answer in the accepted answer list. Am I right?
For see, for
It's
this
not.
question, you can see that the second last option is incorrect. It's not because we don't have data.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to me carefully what I am saying. You can see that
Mm-hmm.
for 9 to 1, average number of calls
Mm-hmm.
is 15,
Mm-hmm.
right? And for 2 to
Okay.
6, average number of calls is 5.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. ठीक है. Okay, ma'am.
So you can directly see here that the average is not same, it is getting changed over the time, which means indirectly you can conclude this thing that data points will not be same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is clear in
Okay.
this particular question. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
for this particular values, the standard deviation will be 0.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. So if we had data set, for example, for whole of the time period, for example, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., for whole of the time duration, we were given a single average value. In
Hmm.
that scenario, we could not say
Yeah,
without the
in
data
that
set
case, we
whether
cannot
that
say.
will.
Yeah,
In that scenario, we cannot say, but here we can assume.
yeah.
And sorry, ma'am, for my last query, I had asked something, but my phone got discharged and turned off. In the previous question, I had asked you about whether that population variance and standard variance for frequency more than one. So we are doing -1 from the frequency, or we are removing one case.
Yeah, that
So
was
you were
our
explaining, but my phone got switched off.
actually uh that's a topic which is
Mm-hmm.
actually is not in your syllabus. So
Mm-hmm.
so when we study about the estimator and all, so there are four properties uh, of a good estimator: unbiasedness, efficiency, and consistency. Okay.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
when we study that, we see that
Mm-hmm.
if we take sample variance as summation of xi minus x bar whole square divided by small n, then this is
Mm-hmm.
actually not an unbiased estimator of the population variance.
Okay.
Okay, that is why we do not consider this case. In the population, that if we have entire population, then we don't have to do n minus. When we have total population, we can divide by n directly. So in
So in the
population, we
same
don't have
question,
to do
ma'am.
anything.
Yeah, in the same question, ma'am, if instead of population variance, we were asked to calculate the sample variance, so we needed to reduce the frequency by one, not the cases by one. Am I right? In the same question.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah. See,
So
again, you are getting confused with it. Yeah, it's frequency minus one, or you can say total number of observation minus n. Okay, let's take a small example of it. Suppose
No,
we
ma'am,
have a
because for
data set.
example, observation above here are, for example, there were 10 ranges. So, for example, there are total 10 observations, but frequencies are different. So that's why I was asking whether I need
See,
to
yeah,
minus
just
one
see
from.
my example once, and then I think you will be clear with it. See, we have, let's take a small data set. Suppose we have 3, 5, 2, 9, 7, 1. So
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So n will be 6. Okay. N is just
That
total
is
number
okay.
of observation. Okay. That is one case
Yes,
where
ma'am.
we don't have like
Frequency is one.
frequency.
Frequency is
Okay.
one for each type of data.
Now next we take suppose 3. Okay. Then 5,
Mm-hmm.
5, 2 times. Okay. Then 2
Okay.
suppose 3 times. Okay. Then suppose 9 1 time. Then suppose 7 4 times. Okay. Then 1.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So this is one case where we have frequencies attached with it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now in this case, you can see what we are doing. We are okay. How we do? We write distinct values. Suppose 3, 5, 2, 9, 7, and 1. Right? These are the xi values, and then we write the frequency of it. So 3 is occurring one time. Then 5 is for 2 times. Okay. Then 2 is for 3
Mm-hmm.
times. 9 is 1 time. 7 is 4 times, and 1 is 1 time only. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you take summation of fi, what it will be? 12.
12, ma'am.
Okay, in this way. Now just count how many data points are these?
12. Yeah.
12, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is just a way to arrange a data in a way when we have frequencies attached with it. Okay, because if you write data in this way, it's a quite cumbersome. So what we do, we just write the distinct values and then we write the frequency. So
Yes,
frequency,
ma'am.
if you count it, it is equal to the total number of observations only.
Yes, ma'am. Here, what I'm saying, ma'am. For example, here the K352971. These are 6 cases. What I'm saying, that there are total 6 cases, 352971, and their total frequency is 12 of these 6 cases. So, if the
You have to
frequency
do
was
12 minus
hello,
1 and not 6 minus 1.
yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
In the sample variance, in this case, we will
Hmm.
do 12 minus 1 and not 6 minus 1.
Yeah.
The
So the
denominator,
focus is on reducing the frequency by 1. And in this
Yes.
case, when the frequency is 1 for each of the cases, and at that scenario, when we make f minus 1, then reduction of one case is just a consequence of reducing the frequency. That is not the aim of reducing the sample by 1.
that would be 6 minus 1 then. Okay.
For this particular data, you have to do 6 minus 1. For this, we have 12 number of observations. We will be doing 12 minus 1.
That is in the denominator, ma'am. Sigma.
Yeah, in the denominator.
Ma'am, there is one doubt in the correlation coefficient in the last question. You said there was one question where there was point by serial correlation coefficient, which is used to have a relationship between categorical and numerical variable, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes.
So here in the last question, it is not a point by serial correlation coefficient. It's just a correlative coefficient, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's just a correlation coefficient. So here the correlation coefficient is having a relation between two numerical variable or one like.
Yeah, numerical variable and not point by serial.
Okay, so if a correlation coefficient is having a relation between two numerical variable, then it's correlation coefficient only. But if it is having a relationship between numerical and categorical variable, then it would be point by serial correlation coefficient, na?
Yes.
The formula is same, ma'am?
No, formulas are different.
Okay, okay.
Okay, now this doubt is clear.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
what
Now
is
it is
the
clear.
formula for correlation coefficient in general?
I have already told you this formulas
Okay.
in one question. Or if you want to know the formulas, you can check in the portal in the
Okay, ma'am.
slides
Okay.
or the live session notes also.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Is it over, ma'am? The class
Ma'am,
is
for
over.
this last topic on the
Hmm.
covariance, one doubt is pending. You told that you will reply later. So after you did you mean after the session?
Yeah, I will check it and then I will confirm.
Okay.
Ma'am, just one thing, like in the qualifying exam, which is day after tomorrow, would there be MCQ more, or would there be we have to give answers by typing? Which questions, like, or it would be mix of both?
It will be MSQ, MCQ, and numerical answer type.
Okay, but numerical answer would be how much percentage? Do you have any idea? Like, would it be like 10%, 2%, or would it be
No,
less?
it would be like 50-50.
Okay, ma'am.
And ma'am, do we under this quiz 1, the syllabus from week 1 to week 7 will be covered, or week 1 to week 5?
In quiz 1,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Quiz 1.
Quiz 1
Yes,
will be
ma'am.
week 1 to 4 only.
Week 1 to 4 only.
Yes.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
if I have no any doubt in mock test question, then may I leave?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, anything else from anyone?
Ma'am, there is any sequence in quiz, like whether it will be first maths 1, then stats 1? Is there any sequence?
You're asking about the schedule of the exam?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure about those things.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Okay,
if you
then
have further doubts or something like that in connection with statistics and data science, are you on LinkedIn or email if you wanted to connect?
yes, I am there.
By what name, ma'am?
By my name only.
Okay. So, ma'am, you are from this university only, ma'am? Like graduated?
No.
Okay, so how we can find you on LinkedIn or something? Like, is there any filter? Like, by what
You
you
can message me in the, or you can mail me. Do you know my mail ID? You can mail me. Okay, there you can ask me anything, okay, and then you can connect with it.
Yeah, ma'am. What is the mail? Your email?
Prerna@study.iitm.ac.in.
Prerna dot.
Prerna@study.iitm.ac.in.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, anything else? Okay, then thank you everyone for joining. You can leave now.